82 schools have opted to have students sit modified CXC exams come May-June. It follows a series of concessions and waivers being offered by the Overseas Exam Council to Jamaica because of Hurricane Melissa. As Jamila Maitland now reports, more discussions are expected on how schools will move forward.
The Ministry of Education says of the 162 schools in Western Jamaica most affected by Hurricane Melissa, 82 schools have opted to do modified CXC exams. Students' final grades will be based on their SBAs and Paper 1 exams, which is a multiple-choice style format. Director of Operations at the CXC, Dr. Nicole Manning, during a recent press conference said schools had until January 14 to apply.
We will work with our local registrar to ensure that we can identify these schools and we will manage accordingly. This is required, the submissions from the schools will be required by January 14th.
President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mark Malarba, says some school administrators missed the deadline.
We would have provided some concerns that the deadline would have been too tight. It was just too close. We don't believe that it would have given the principals sufficient time to do the assessment.
We asked the JTA president what is an appropriate time frame for schools to indicate what version of exams they'd like to do, but Mr. Malarva says it's difficult to say. He did reveal, however, that further discussions are expected to take place this week.
I'm very cognizant of the timeline, but my concern remains that, it's going to be critical to do that internal assessment properly and not necessarily rush to make a decision at this point in time.
Notably, the ministry says the Overseas Exams Council has not given any extensions to the January 14 deadline. Schools have been offered a slate of SBA concessions and waivers for students sitting the May-June exams because of Hurricane Melissa.
Providing that information allowed CXC to understand the situation on the ground. So the analysis from that and the discussions with the Ministry of Education as well as the principals gave us confidence that there were two things that were necessary. One, you had approximately 37% of the island that meet, the number of centers within the island that would not have been ready for full assessment. But augmented with that information, the principals have since indicated that there are some subjects, some areas that the students are very advanced. So that's why we gave them the flexibility, given that information coming out of those 7 parishes. So they do have that flexibility. So it is really data-driven in terms of that decision.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.